And, but it was not Mr. Beast. And, anyway, so that's basically the way that I look at it. And, if you're honest, I feel like you always try to be fair when you talk about a topic and try to stay away from getting anything personal. I do. I really try to be, I really try to be fair. And I think that in some cases, people might think that my fairness is wrong. They might think that I have the wrong viewpoint. But I think that, for example, with like my takes on, I think TikTok is very split. There's a lot of people in the audience who are not fans of my viewpoint on TikTok. And then you have other people who, like, I think best example is Pirate Software thing. A lot of people didn't like that I initially defended, like, what Pirate Software did. Like, and, like, how he played in Dire Maul. And people were really angry about that. But I came to that conclusion myself, and I just decided that because I thought that was what it looked like to me, right? Now, it doesn't really matter to me whether other people agree with it or not. The reality is that if I think that it makes sense, well, then I'm going to imagine that's what happened. And also, like, another point with Quinn, you call him out with a PoE thing, then you call him out for wanting to stream on X, aka you guys connected, so he felt betrayed. Yeah, no, I definitely, I could see that, and I don't really think that's the case at all. I mean, I don't look at it that way, but, you know, sure. You were wrong initially, though. Do you have bias, though? I try to not cover topics that involve people that I'm close friends with, because I think that that bias will leak into the coverage, and I don't want to misinform people, right? It's the same as like a judge recuses themselves of a case, and so that's the way I see it. Did you feel any pressure to not cover it from Elon? No, I mean, obviously, like, when I saw the video, I was thinking to myself, yeah, there's a chance he'll probably maybe see it and get mad. I mean, of course that crossed my mind. No, I still did it. But, like, of course I would think that. Yeah, I mean, it's common sense that you would come to that conclusion, right? Of course. But, anyway, it's still, like, what I would do. And, yeah, you went way too easy on him? Really? I mean, how hard did you expect me to go? Like, I don't think it's that big of a thing. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I was very fair. And again, like, you really did? Yeah, sure, right? Would you still consider uploading to X after this? Oh, we got to talk about the ads. We got to talk about the ads and, like, the revenue. We got to figure that out. Yeah, we got to figure that out now. And yeah, because, like, yeah, I don't know. But no, I don't have any, as I said, I don't take any of this stuff seriously at all. And yeah, you gave up way too easily. He was truly fucked up for this. Fucked up for what? Oh, for the, wait, for what? This? I'm so confused. I think your video was pretty mild. Yeah, I tried to do that. It's crazy to me. He accuses you to be under some boot while you covered him negatively, basically on the most powerful person, people on Earth. Well, sure. Well, anyway, this is my life, okay? So, initially, I'm an Elon Musk dick rider, and I'll defend him no matter what. And then I'm ignoring the Quinn video. Then I watch the Quinn video. And now Elon Musk is mad at me. I'm, like, getting my verification taken away on Twitter. And it's like, it just doesn't matter what I do. People are gonna have something to say about it, you know what I mean? That's just it. Yeah, whole checkmark thing is authoritarian, in my opinion. The exact thing both of you hate. I think so too. I think it was dumb to take away the checkmark. I think that he realized that, and that's why. Let's see. Do I have it now? I still have it. I'm waiting for my gaming checkmark to come back. Hopefully it's gonna be soon. Yeah, you know, I'm just waiting, you know, just turn it back on, man. Come on, you know that's what's fair. You know that's what's fair. Crip doesn't. Crip got his checkmark taken away. I was gonna tweet him. I said, does that mean I have to pay you $8 a month now? But I decided not to. And anyway, what's this here? Riparian. Let me see. Okay. Crip never had it. Is that true? And also, by the way, there are some people that were making, like they were like, I saw the clip of Quinn. Hopefully Quinn won't mind me saying this, but like Quinn reached out to me, and he actually like, I don't think apologize is the right word, but he clarified that like he wasn't trying to like take shots at me or something for like the fact that I hadn't watched the Elon video, and people had taken that a bit out of context. So like, yeah, he talked about it. Exactly. Yeah. And so like, I just want to let you guys know, like me and Quinn are 100% good. Like there's no issue. Like that was never even a thing. That was just like an internet. And like, I've known Quinn for years, right? And so like, I never took it that way, but yeah, there it is. Just in case people think that like there is something going on there, that it wasn't even a thing. So yeah. Do you think the checkmark remove is him messing around or being serious? I have no idea. Yeah, I cannot read people's minds. So anyway, that's basically where we're at. Now, what happens after this, I'm not really sure. I have no idea. 2025 is wild. What's your take on the mental state of Elon after this? I mean, I've been so embarrassed to be in public, words with person, am I overthinking it? I think that he just doesn't give a shit, and he says whatever he thinks in the moment, and that's basically about it. I mean, that's just like, I don't know. Yeah, that's... I guess I've grown up with a lot of people like that. It's just pretty normal to me. Yeah. And what's this here? You see Quinn's tweet? Which one? I've seen too many of them. And anyway, so why don't you start a live on Twitter right now? The best time to farm? Well, because I'm not monetized anymore. I got taken out of the gaming program. See, I would have gone live on Twitter to do this, but you know, since he had to take away my gaming badge, and now I wouldn't be getting paid. Well, I mean, I can't do it now. I mean, that's, yeah, what the hell. So it's too bad. Yeah, it's real shame, isn't it? And anyway, so that's basically where it is. And anyway. Elon's friends of Jeff Bezos, couldn't tell him permanent. Are you scared of Elon? You're talking like you have a filter. Well, I don't hate Elon. And I think that you guys have maybe noticed this, is that when I have a disagreement or somebody gets mad at me, I really try to never make it personal. And this has been like a goal that I've had for like, I don't know, maybe about a year now, probably a bit less, is that I do genuinely try to not make it personal. And that's it. Yeah, I thought you liked free speech. Yeah, what about Yamato? Well, he was, to be honest, yeah, and I probably went a little bit too hard on Yamato. But listen, complaining to the guildmaster, like, this is like a, can I talk to the teacher? You know, I need to speak to the manager thing. I thought it was ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're complaining, you're like, you're talking to the manager. Yes. Anyway, so you handled the Taliesin situation way better than most, even when he was fully unhinged. Well, what do you mean when he was? I mean, I don't know. That's not very descriptive. But yeah. And so yeah. Anyway, being monetized on the website has nothing to do with First Amendment, chat. Are you gonna watch Destiny reacting to the Elon Musk and Sam Harris falling out? No, I've not seen that. Apparently there was some COVID bet or something like that. Who do you think has a better Elden Ring build, me or Elon? I'm gonna be honest. And it's not even close. Me. It's not even remotely close. So yeah, the wall, well, it's not even the wall. Even the jump attack build that I had back in the day was really, really good too. So yeah, you're going way harder on some other cheaters in the past. Now it's just normal behavior to you. Yeah, I've tried to dial things back and not get as mad or as vitriolic as I used to. Is that bad? Is that bad? Like, that's what I said, like, when I came back from taking a break on, like, you know, like, I was not taking a break, I got suspended for 2 weeks, right? And so, like, after that, I really tried to dial down the emotional vitriol that I would have on the stream. Now, obviously, like, I'm a human being, and so people make mistakes, but I've tried to treat a lot of internet drama and stuff like that more like it's entertainment rather than it is some kind of, like, big deal or big problem. Does that make sense? Life's too short to have a vitriol be a hitter. Yeah, exactly. Like, I would get really mad about stuff, and I don't want to go through that at all. And anyway, so Redditor's mad you don't hate Elon. People are going to get mad about anything that I do. But this is the thing for me, and I want people to understand this, and you can respect this or not, but either way, you can take it to the fucking bank. I will try to be as fair from my point of view as I possibly can be, regardless of what people say about me, regardless of how people treat me, and regardless of their past behavior towards me. I try to be fair regardless. Please don't put with Elon, grow a backbone. You just want me to say a bunch of bad shit about it. That's all you want me to do. You want me to sit here and talk a bunch of shit. Can you react to your apology? Jesus, who is this guy? Is so weird. Oh my God. Your own chat's trying to dictate your behavior. I think that there's a lot of people. So, and this has been going on a lot, and it is from certain communities. We're not going to name the communities, but there are certain communities out there that have been very ambitious and very enthusiastic about pushing narratives about me having some sort of hidden agenda or things like that. I spend a lot of time on Reddit. I spend a lot of time on Twitter. I see a lot of these posts, a lot. I read them. I will look up, posts about myself because I am an egomaniac. And so if you guys are doing stuff like that, I probably do see it. I know what's going on. I know what's happening. It's also white nationalist. No, I have read. So pretty much every single day there have been threads about me on Poll. Now it's kind of stopped recently because there hasn't been like anything crazy that's happened. But ever since, like, I mean, I remember the Sam Hyde thing. People were going in on it. Like, there were so many of those. Hard to keep up. Yeah, there are. There's a lot of them to keep up with, And so that's it. Anyway, did you know people said both you and Pirate share the same media company? Pirate? No, that's Mr. Beast. That's the Night Media thing. And yeah. I think I'd be like pussy like Elon. It's very understandable. A lot of people want me to go full nuclear about it. I don't think that it's necessary to do that. I don't want to create drama. As I said before, maybe I want to go to SpaceX one day. I think that'd be really cool. If I could go live stream one of the rocket launches, that'd be great. So no, I don't want to go and start a bunch of drama and burn a bridge. Absolutely not. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? It makes no sense. Anyway, do it be funny? Yes. And anyway, that's the way that I look at things. What do you think would happen if Elon's faked the Minecraft speedrun? Dude. I've wanted to cover the Dream and Tommy Innit stuff like for 3 days, but it just keeps getting dumber every single day, and I haven't wanted to do it because like every day that I think I have an understanding of what's going on, things change, and then like there's new clips that get uploaded and people link them to me, and I'm like, wait, what? Why would he do that? Wait, why would he say that? Why would he do this? So at a certain point, I just didn't want to deal with it at all. Do you think he boosted in Diablo 4? Oh, probably. Actually, so I think he probably played. It was probably half and half. Like it wasn't 100%. It seemed like he played Diablo 4 more because he streamed it more. But do I think he got all that character, that gear itself? No, 100%. It's too much time and effort to put into the game to do that. It's impossible. Like, I'm not sure about Diablo 4. I mean, I feel like we're 100% sure on PoE, right? 100%. Diablo 4, it's hard to say, but, past behavior is an indicator of other behavior, right? I mean, there's a pattern. It shows how stupid you think we are? Yeah, sure. Has GGG reacted to it? Like, shouldn't he get banned? I don't know. Like, I don't think that they're going to react to it at all. Did you see Elon thinks you're a boss and you aren't being genuine? Yes, I did see that. I've talked about that a number of times, but yes, I am. I think that that's the problem, is that I'm very genuine, and it causes problems every single day, but I will continue to do it one way or another. Do you think your theory on Elon using HB1 visas to hire gamers to play his account was accurate? I don't really, okay, no, that was obviously a joke, but it's like a 98% joke. I'd say that. Ask Grok if Elon is bad. Okay, I will. It's his own AI, guys.
Singing your heart out wouldn't feel the same in an empty room. In fact, some things just don't work solo. They need another person around to really make sense.
Diagnosis, anxiety. Begin deep breathing.
Therapy is one of them. With Alma, you can find a therapist to support you through life's challenges in the way that only a real person can. Better with people, better with Alma.
In the beginning, there was blood.
One wrong move, you ruin your life, mine, your sister's.
I don't back down. Spatter matters.
Sometimes the bad guys slip through the cracks.
Learning my code was just the beginning. You never forget your first crime.
Dexter: Original Sin. New series now streaming on the Paramount Plus with Showtime plan.
The rise and fall of gaming journalism. You want to know what's funny is I have this one. Dude, like, I do too? Yeah, no, I mean, like, Nintendo Power, like, I used to be so in on that. Like, I have all the old Nintendo Power. I never got rid of any of them.
Gaming journalism isn't what it once was.
No, it's
In
not.
fact, just mentioning the words gaming journalism these days seems to only provoke negative reactions.
Nobody
This
likes
is how
it.
badly these companies have damaged their own reputation.
Yeah.
Almost every week, I see the same sentence pop up somewhere online that says, "Remember, you don't hate gaming journalists enough."
It's bad.
Whether it's in the comment section on a YouTube video, or a Facebook or Instagram post, or even on X, gamers seem to be unified in this thought across the internet. It's a clear
Yeah,
sign.
I don't think anybody likes gaming journalism anymore. Like, even the gaming journalists don't like themselves. Just read their Twitter bios if you think they do.
That gamers genuinely wouldn't mind if the majority of
Yeah.
gaming journalism outlets just disappeared at this point.
They have been. Yeah, they're done.
Gamers used to love the likes of IGN, for example, because it felt like they were one of us. But now to
Yeah.
see them lay off a lot more of their staff this month has sparked some interesting reactions online.
Dude, people, that's one of my favorite things, is that when layoffs happen at a company that people don't like, everybody is like spamming like W. They're like, yes, finally, fire them all. Yeah, but if the job losses get worse, oh, they will. They absolutely will. What's going to end up happening is that the job losses will continuously get more and more extreme until it's basically just done, right? I mean, you're not going to be able to do anything.
A large part of the gaming community celebrated this as if this result is a form of justice, whereas another portion of the gaming community were saddened by the idea that the IGN they once loved has allowed itself to fall this far. So how did we get here? How is it that gaming journalists, much like many AAA gaming companies, have become so disconnected from their audience that it's come to this? Let's rewind for a second
It's
to what...
super easy. How? I mean, they allowed people that had agendas to write things. It's the same thing that's happened to mainstream journalism. I think the reason why it's more pervasive and it's more, it's more identified in gaming is because it's such a microcosm of people that are hyper fixated on it. So you have like a very high degree of competency and awareness, and that causes people to think and like realize the errors and the sloppiness. because it's niche, right? And so here's the thing. I said this before. How many times have you read an article or something like that in a mainstream publication, and it turned out that it's total bullshit because you're an expert in that field? Now, my skeptical mind tells me that if every article that I read that I understand is bullshit, then I would also assume that every article that I read that I don't understand is also bullshit. I just don't know it.
What a lot of us remember as the golden age of gaming journalism.
Yep,
Back
the
then,
movies,
gaming
or the,
magazines,
magazines,
like Nintendo
yeah.
Power, PC Gamer, and Game Informer
I had all
weren't
those.
just magazines.
Yep.
They were a gateway into the world we loved.
Well,
They
were, dude, this was gaming culture. Like, these magazines were gaming culture themselves.
this unique way of connecting with us, speaking a language
Yeah.
that every gamer just
Yeah,
understood
you get, like,
and
the
spoke
disc with it, with the
themselves.
yep.
This was especially important at the time because
Ooh.
of how niche gaming was.
Look at that, bro. Damn, bro, he is ready. Shit.
In most households. I'll never forget those moments when my mom would arrive back from her monthly grocery shop. I'd race to the car because I knew she'd picked up a copy of either the
Yep.
PC format or the NAG magazine for me.
See, nice. See, for me, it was, I would go to, do you guys remember Albertsons? Like, it was a grocery store, a grocery chain. And I remember we would walk into Albertsons and there'd be like the magazine racks. And like halfway through, or like while my mom was waiting in the checkout line, I would go and sit down and read the gaming magazines. Yeah, I would sit down in front of the magazine section and read them.
Or
Those
some
were the
African
days.
variants of gaming magazines. It was such a small thing, but my mom knew that it made me happy for the rest of the week. I was hooked on those magazines. Over time, I'd even figure out which of the writers had the same taste in games as me, and I'd always look out for their names in these magazines.
I never did that.
Gaming journalists used to deliver an amazing experience that a lot of us will always remember. When the internet took over, sites like
I don't even think that it was gaming journalists. I think that it was just like the time whenever you were a kid, and it was just like a innocent hobby that just had people writing about it, that people just really liked the content. It was basically like reading Nintendo Power as a kid in the 90s. Like, I'm sorry, but like watching Ninja play Fortnite is not even remotely close to as good as it was. Not like, I know, you know, some kids might have, you know, fond memories. It was not even remotely close.
GameSpot, and GameFAQs kept the energy alive. They weren't just about reviews and news, they were about community. Forums were always buzzing with debates,
Yep.
walkthroughs, and theories. Early reviews felt like it was simply gamers talking to gamers, because that's exactly what it was. It wasn't just about the games, it was about
Yeah.
the culture. That
Well,
era
it went so hard that, I mean, the way that a lot of the WoW devs got hired is they were people that complained about EverQuest. And Blizzard saw that and they said, well, God, these guys really don't fucking like the game. They really think they can do it better? Well, let's find out. And then they got hired. Jeff Kaplan, I think, is a good example of that.
was about celebrating games. Big events like E3 felt magical, where developers, journalists, and players came together to share
Yep.
in the excitement of announcements and reveals. It was a time when the line between fans and journalists was blurred, because at the end of the day, journalists were gamers too. But like all golden ages, it didn't last forever. By the 2010s, cracks started to show. Traffic became the priority and sensationalism took over.
Yeah.
Why? Because ad revenue now relied on clicks. And when your business model depends on clicks, trust and quality often disappear. News, reviews, and entertainment were no longer the product. You and I became the product.
I think this is the problem with like all types of media, is that when you get paid by views, there's going to be a, like, every type of monetization has a dark side, or it has like a negative outcome as well. But I think that really, like, so when gaming journalism, and I'm sure he's going to say this, Gamergate killed gaming journalism. That's what it was. And if you look at the graphs of like all these websites, you'll see that that's exactly what happened. Is that they were still growing until like Gamergate. That was the end of it.
Majority of news outlets, not just gaming journalists, quickly learned that sensationalism equals profit. And where there's sensationalism, there is disconnect. It wasn't just clickbait though. There was also this new phenomenon of first come, first served. Instead of publishing a monthly magazine where journalists could spend more time refining and crafting something thought-provoking and entertaining, a never-ending rat race began. Companies now competed to get previews, reviews, and news out faster than the competition. Articles started feeling rushed, and reviews...
This is something that happened with YouTube as well. Like, how many of you guys remember, or you've played a game where people try to get guides out for new content as soon as possible, and they do it at the cost of the content itself? So like the guide will come out, but it'll be really shitty, or it won't be complete because it won't be ready, but like the title says that it's the full complete thing. Yeah, exactly right. And so that's a huge issue. The PoE2 shit? Yeah, the F-Extra Life thing. Yeah, people are really critical about them for that reason.
Becoming increasingly more disconnected from gamers. It was clear that it didn't feel like it was gamers talking to gamers anymore.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people have grown so...
Why men are in trouble. I wish Resident Evil 2 let me be a more compassionate hero. Yeah, I think that also, like, this was another big difference, is that when you looked at the old magazines, it was really people talking about the game quality, and you didn't really have as much people that were like, it was more of a celebration of the games and a discussion of the game at like a factual level. Then you started seeing, and I think this is another element of it, is that personal opinions of things are generally more popular because it's easier to relate to them because there's a lower barrier to entry. So what ends up happening is that people start making content about like their personal opinions on things. Those videos get more popular, and before you know it, that's all you see. So that's really what it is. Girl writers, well, I mean, I think that there were women writers for the old magazines too. I just think that like what really happened is that like you had people that used to be basically disseminating information, and then they started giving their viewpoints instead.
Tired of this. Just look at the recent reviews around Concord. Self-proclaimed critics gave this game a 7 out of 10 or even an 8 out of 10, while literally the entire gaming community rejected this game into oblivion. Saying these reviews felt out of touch is an understatement. There is so obviously a disconnect between these journalists and actual gamers.
Well, there's an intentional disconnect. They do it on purpose because they don't want to... They want to push an agenda. They want you to believe something. And this is the same with mainstream media too. Like, I've seen it happen with numerous different events. Think about how many known lies mainstream media just reports regularly, and they never really try to correct them or fix them. That's what happens all the time. They all know, yeah, exactly. And so they're not trying to, like, their message is more important than the truth. That's basically the way that they look at it.
Everything okay up there?
Yeah, everything's fine.
Oh, that's odd. I don't remember locking this.
You wouldn't happen to remember if my aunt had a wind-up toy monkey at the yard sale?
Oh, not a cherished childhood memory now, was it?
No, 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 no! The coroner said it was an accident, but it was no accident. It was a monkey. When I was a kid, my twin brother and I found something that loved to kill. I did everything I could to make it go the fuck away. But it had other plans. Hello, brother.
Bill.
The monkey that likes killing our family. It's back. It must be vanquished.
Why don't you vanquish it, huh, Bill?
Wait! We have been chosen to witness its power over life and death in its most devious ways.
It's a toy monkey?
It's evil. It's basically the devil.
Everybody dies. And that's life.
Oh, fuck.
Everybody be asking me, man, does the Bluetooth actually work?
Bro, you get a month for free.
It's free. You can get 1 month for free. So you got nothing to lose, you got everything to gain.
Try it, and you're gonna like it.
It's free, get involved, pop a chewable, and you tell yourself if they work or not.
I think you are. You should give me another chance.
I don't think we're alike at all.
Then there's the issue of access journalism. Game publishers started controlling the narrative more aggressively, using embargoes and restrictions to shape coverage.
If the catch-22 of video game journalism, what is this? What was the other article? Gaming the system, how games journalists lost his a job over a negative review. Yeah, I'm not sure about that specifically. It depends on why. But yeah, I think that definitely happens. And that's one of the big weaknesses for anything. Concord got bad reviews. No, there were a lot of very positive reviews for Concord, actually.
Coverage. If a journalist criticized a game, they risked losing early access or exclusives in the future.
That's one of the big weaknesses, and I think that's actually what the crux of Gamergate was actually about. Is you have people that are effectively participants or beneficiaries of access journalism, and you do have some platforms and publications that don't take advantage of this, but back then especially, they were very few and far between. So you had people, and this is still an issue now, like, so I'll give you an example. I think that, like, think about the interaction and everything that I had with Elon Musk, you know, today on Twitter, right, and yesterday and, you know, past week or so, is that there is an implicit benefit to not covering things of people that could give you some sort of advantage in the future, right? And so that's what ends up happening, is that you have people that don't give feedback or they don't say certain things because it's more important for them to maintain a hegemony or maintain a relationship than tell the truth. And I think that sees it constantly. No, it's a 62 on Metacritic. I get your point, but Concord got slaughtered by everyone. I think a 62, like, I mean, a 62 for Concord. I feel like it was like a 0.62 by the player base, right? I mean, so I think that's a pretty huge difference.
And when you're in a state of competing for clicks, losing that access can be devastating for your company. So do you tell the truth and risk backlash from the publishers, or do you play it safe and lose credibility with your readers?
Yeah.
Definitely not an easy decision. This discussion...
Oh, look at this. That's me. And so I think that it's also, you have, like, there's definitely pressure from publishers and developers. And I think also here's another really big issue, is that if you're personal friends with publishers and developers and the people that work in the industry, you're going to just passively give them more leeway and more credibility because you know them personally, and so you're seeing it from their perspective, but that might not be a perspective that the rest of the audience sees.
Connect has definitely brought a major shift over the years. As trust in traditional outlets faded, a lot of gamers turned to the reviews and opinions of YouTubers. Creators like Angry Joe and the amazing Total Biscuit felt authentic. They didn't need publisher approval, and they weren't afraid to tell it like it is. If a game was broken, they'd call it out. If it was great, you can tell their praise was genuine.
Like, this probably is like probably one of the greatest games I ever played in my whole life. It's just so good. Elden Ring is a top 10 of all time generational game. It's not even a question. It's so good, man. Stop, man, stop. I hate this game, bro.
Now, this raises a big question. Why do companies like IGN still have an audience?
Okay.
If you watched my previous videos, you would know that I'm just a casual gamer.
Yeah.
I don't always have time to sit down and actually play games, let alone dive into the drama around gaming journalism. So, let's say I see a game advertised from a franchise I loved as a kid or teenager,
You're gonna
or
play
from
it.
a company
Yeah.
I used to praise and trust. Naturally, I would want to go where I've always gone for insight on these games. IGN, PC Gamer, or Game Informer. And honestly, most casual
Kotaku,
gamers would
Polygon,
probably
yeah.
stop their research right there. How do I know this? Because most of my friends, who are dads, husbands, accountants, financial advisors, tradesmen, and just generally busy guys, still read and trust IGN. Simply because they always have. Although the funny
IGN, I will say, is probably the most favorable. Like, of all of the different publications, I think IGN is the least biased, but I do think that they're extremely biased as well. I think Black Myth Wukong is a great example of that. But they are the best bad one.
The thing is, some of them have actually now stopped reading
It's my
IGN
opinion.
because of what happened with Dragon Age: The Veil God. I have a good friend who grew up loving the Dragon Age series. Years later, a new sequel, The Veil God, was announced, and he got pretty excited. Ahead of launch, he checks IGN's reviews and he sees a 9 out of 10.
Amazing.
Now, bear in mind, he does not keep up with the
Wow.
politics behind any of this stuff, because he is simply a very busy guy. Now,
Yeah, this is the thing too, is that he's right about this, is that you get the normies who get hoodwinked by this kind of stuff. Because like they're like, this guy is, you know, like we said, like an accountant, right? Like he's not thinking, he's not watching, you know, like, oh, well, they're giving this game, like there's a non-binary character in the game. They're not even thinking about that, right?
this confirms his excitement. There are no warnings, no caveats, just another Dragon Age with a 9 out of 10 from IGN.
Of course.
So the game launches, and he finally gets to play it. And he is obviously blindsided. The game does not live up to its predecessors. It even feels like the developers sacrificed the gritty story writing of the franchise just to push a progressive agenda in a very heavy-handed, cringeworthy way.
And you've also got to keep in mind that there's this idea that normies are more accepting of like non-binary stuff. I actually think that the people on the internet and like internet users are much more progressive on average than the average population. Like way, way, way more.
Oh, I'm non-binary.
And IGN gave it a higher review score than any of the previous titles. A lot
Incredible.
of these big outlets have obviously let people down, and more gamers are starting to look elsewhere for honest opinions. So where does that leave us? Is gaming journalism gonna eventually disappear?
They are an endangered species right now. They're like the white rhinos. There's like 7 of them left. And so what's happening is that there's almost no gaming journalism outlets that are left now. And if you think about the amount of people that are writing articles for these websites, it's less than 100 people probably at this point. Like it's basically dead. Like it is. It's very, very close to being dead. Now, I thought about making my own website, but the problem is that it would probably require me to interact with other people. And so I was like, I don't know if I want to do this because I don't like talking and dealing with people. But functionally, like if all I had to do was set up a foundation for it and like set up like what I thought would work, and then that's it, I'm done, I would do that. Donkey called them out a while ago. Yeah, sure, right? But I think that's what's going to happen a lot.
I don't think it will, but I do believe gamers are finally holding these companies accountable. I do believe as gaming journalism has declined, we have definitely seen a rise in trusted YouTubers and indie creators who are doing something traditional outlets struggle with. They embrace the difficult conversations around gaming, and a lot of them do it well. Let's face it, games aren't a one-size-fits-all. What I love about a game might be what you hate about it, and that's fine. Independent creators
that's fundamentally what makes independent content creators on YouTube a better source. Not to mention the fact that watching a video for a video game is just a baseline. Like, theoretically, if Nintendo Power could have been like, you know, like in Harry Potter, where like they would open up the newspaper and it would actually play videos with the paper. If Nintendo Power could have done that with embedded YouTube videos in the year 1995, they would have done that. The only reason they couldn't do that is because it was not technologically possible to do that. So in like a perfect world, it would have effectively been YouTube videos with text in between videos, right? No technology. Yes, exactly. And so that's what I think is happening a lot, is that it's just simply a better medium. And also the way that video game websites, their criteria for what's valuable and what's important doesn't reflect what a player thinks is valuable or important. So like if this person thinks that it's really good that they had a trans character in the game, your average Walmart American is going to either not care or think it's bad, because they don't think like that at all. Like this is it's a closed system of people that are in their own bubble, and their values no longer represent the majority of people inside of their audience.
Their biases. When they rave about a game, it feels like a recommendation from a fellow gamer, not some detached, objective critic. And that honesty, it resonates. On top of that, creators build...
Well, also, yeah, there it is. Also, it's easier, like IGN has a bunch of people writing articles for them. So like you don't really have like one definitive viewpoint that you're getting out of IGN, because, or Kotaku or any of these other websites, because they just have like, there's some people that write that think this about a game, other people that write that think that about a game. But like with an individual like myself, or you know, any of like Scale Up or something like that, you're getting really the opinion of one consistent person. So like for example, like the person who writes the review for Dragon Age Veilguard might also write a review and have totally different criteria than somebody else for the game for that audience. You see kind of what I'm saying? And so like following an individual creator is much easier to do than following an individual writer.
Communities. They're in the comments, hosting live streams, and engaging with their audience in ways traditional outlets just don't anymore. That direct connection is a big reason why so many gamers are turning to independent content creators for their reviews and insights. So, what does the future of gaming journalism look like? The truth is, it's unclear, but one thing is for sure: the old model of sensationalism, clickbait headlines, and ignoring what the audience really cares about is fading fast. Gamers are...
I don't think that sensationalism is fading, but I think that the amount of people's attention, like the problem is that I think a lot of the types of ideas that they tried to push are just simply losing in the free marketplace of ideas, and people don't really find any importance or value in them in the way that they used to. I think that's really what's going on here. That's actually the reason why.
Tired of feeling like we're being sold something that is not genuine. We want transparency, we want honesty, and we want to feel connected to the people reviewing our favorite games. As a gamer, I have to say the worst thing I've seen gaming...
Hot take, gamers are the problem with gaming.
The journalists do is turn on the core audience and paint us as villains. Instead of journalists do...
Gamers are terrible people and we should stop being okay with it.
Okay.
And this website is called The Gamer. Again, this is like going to work at a steakhouse if you're a vegan. I can't imagine being this stupid.
And paint us as villains. Instead of engaging with the community, some
not sure if my 15 layers mean that gamers are bad people.
Journalists have chosen to throw accusations at gamers, stating we are the problem with the gaming industry. Gaming journalism won't disappear, but it will have to evolve. The outlets that survive will be the ones that understand the shift and reconnect with their audience. It's not just about getting the first scoop anymore. It's about providing real, thoughtful coverage that respects the community and acknowledges the diverse opinions within it.
I think that, I mean, just to be totally honest, I think that you just can't, if you bring in identity politics to like video game stuff at this point, you are asking to lose. Yes, of course, there are always going to be people that are okay with it, but there has been such a massive backlash from it that if you bring up or talk about any identity politics, like I think that the Kingdom Come Deliverance controversy, and I'll talk about that after this, is a really great example of just like how how sensitive people are to that now. Is that if people get even a hint of something that they would consider like woke, they totally lose their fucking minds.
To the point that when outlets like PC Gamer might actually produce thoughtful content that raises valid points, no one cares anymore. They automatically face backlash from the internet due to the reputation they've built over time. The recent article on Path of Exile 2 was a prime example of this. Readers see the headline and they immediately assume it's a bad article. But this is a completely self-induced problem. And this is the consequences. The rise of independent creators and YouTubers shows us what gaming journalism could become. More personal, more honest, and more connected to the audience. These creators...
Well, it's also more direct, and it's a better medium too. Like, you don't have a lot of people that are writing articles individually either. You have mainly people that are creating YouTube videos because it's a better medium. As when you're the PC gamer now? Well, I mean, yeah, in a lot of ways I am. I think that's true. I didn't mention Gamergate, but I definitely should have. Yeah, I think that Gamergate was the point, like that, in my opinion, was the undeniable turning point where everything changed. Because before Gamergate, people were pretty much like, yeah, whatever, right? Like, you know, there's like some people that have political opinions about stuff, it's whatever. But like, with Gamergate, it kind of drew a line in the sand between the people who were in the gaming and journalism industry and people who were in the gaming industry and the people who weren't, like the actual consumers. So like Gamergate was this thing where a lot of people, this is like 10 years ago, maybe like 11 years ago at this point, it was a long time ago. But basically what happened was that there were a lot of reports and people discussing how certain outlets were behaving in unethical ways. Like, for example, people would get review copies or they wouldn't get review copies, and they'd be like, I think the best example is that somebody was in a relationship with like this girl and then provided coverage to one of this girl's games, and in the process of that didn't disclose the fact that they were in a relationship with the person whose games they reviewed. And so there were a lot of instances like that where you had obvious kind of ethical violations that happened, and basically what happened is that people got really angry about it, and the entire like gaming industry tried to turn it into a, well, the reason why they're mad is because they hate women type thing. And I think that it worked for some people, but it didn't work for enough people. And what happened is that after that, if you look at the graph for like the way that these websites went, like after 2014, they went way, way down. Like that was the beginning of the end. And like now they've never been lower. Was the girl hot because that was justified? Well, it doesn't matter, right? That's not the point. And so that's really what was not the turning point. The industry's response to it was, respectfully. Well, that's actually a great point that you're making. Yeah, the turning point was not, no, really, really good point. It was not the fact that it happened. It was the fact that the journalists tried to pretend like it wasn't happening, and it was an insult. It was an insult to everybody's intelligence. Everybody was like, this is bullshit. We can all tell this is bullshit, right? And I think also that's when they directly started attacking gamers. That's whenever it really began, was 2014. And that's where I think the big transition happened. And that's when you started seeing a lot like more like identity politics in games, stuff like that. Because then they tried to overcorrect and like kind of punish in a way. Like, I don't really think that's what happened, but I think that's the way that a lot of people viewed it. Punish gamers for Gamergate. And I think that all that did was it just radicalized them more. Because at the end of the day, like, there's just way more people that play video games than people in games media. And they just got straight up overwhelmed. And for a long time, you were getting... Basically, like, this is what would happen, right? Is that pretty much every person in journalism had the exact same viewpoint, and I think this is still the case. And if one person, like, kind of went off the, you know, they went off the, you know, off the beaten path, they immediately were crucified. And you saw that recently, I forgot which game it was, but one, you know, more mainstream journalist paid credibility to, like, a gamer complaint. And they had a bunch of other journalists that were getting mad at them because they were saying, oh no, we're not supposed to talk about that. We're not supposed to pretend that exists, right? Path of Exile. I don't remember whether it was PoE or not. I'm not sure. And so anyway, that's really, you want to see reservation so bad? Well, usually going off the reservation or going off the plantation, I think these are the two usual ones, but they're both kind of not very, like, it's kind of a weird way to say it. But yeah, anyway, the point is that, I think this is what happened, and you have those journalists that are getting fixated on like trying to make sure that nobody talks about this. And you even see it now whenever you have articles written about like why a game didn't do well, and it's like they're ignoring the massive elephant in the room for why the game actually didn't do well, because they don't want to talk about it, because talking about it's like Voldemort, right? It's like talking about it makes it real. And I think that's really what happened. You see kind of what I'm saying? Politically correct, you're not following my policies. Yeah, that's basically what it was.
Are giving a voice to the gamers, and they are filling a gap left by the big outlets that became more concerned with clicks than delivering real value. It's a new era, and if traditional outlets want to stay relevant, they'll need to adapt or risk being left behind.
Yeah.
As for gamers, we're starting to take control. We're demanding better, and most importantly, we're holding these companies accountable. Thank you everyone for watching, and a very special thank you to my Patreons. If you're keen to look into my Patreon, do check the link in the description below. I'm really enjoying building this community with all of you. Also, a very big thank you to Sennheiser for these headphones. This isn't a sponsorship, but a few weeks ago I reached out to them and asked them for a sponsor, but they sent them to me completely for free. Really like them. You can check a link in the description below for them. Like I said, it's not a sponsor.
I need new headphones.
But I do want to support them because they've supported me. If you would like to join me live, I am on Twitch almost weekly now, so feel free to pop in there and say hi. Thanks guys. Take care.
Yep, there it is. I think that was a great video. Citizen journalism is far more popular and powerful. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. And like you have a lot of the, so like, and this is what's happened with publishing in general in a lot of different fields, is that the entire industry of publishing is a lot smaller now because you don't need a printing press. You don't need a massive editorial board or anything like that. And so a person with a message can directly give that message to the public, right? And like, that's why, like, you know, for example, on Twitter, you know, Elon Musk is always talking about citizen journalism. And I think that's actually what people do want. They want way more citizen journalism because they don't trust any of the mainstream media. I think that a lot of people, like even conservatives, they might watch Fox, but I don't think they really trust Fox that much more than they trust like CNN. They just think Fox is the best worst thing, basically, right? And so people still have a distrust for mainstream media. It's just that that's the best that they can have. And so that's the way, yeah, KW to trust Fox. Oh, I'm sure some of them do, right? I mean, I'm talking about averages and just in general. And so, yeah, the lesser evil, exactly. And so what I think is going to happen more is that you're going to have creators that will probably try to like go against their audience with stuff like this too after they get big enough. And you're starting to see that happen now with like them trying to defend certain types of like policies or ways of thinking with games. But it won't work because I just think that the ability for people to communicate and talk about things publicly is so big that you just can't put that genie back in the bottle anymore. Like, that's it. It's out, and people are going to have whatever opinions they want about stuff now, and you either adapt to those opinions or you die. The market decides. Yeah, the market decides. And also, here's another thing. The market isn't always fair. And this is a huge thing that, like, I think a lot of people are having trouble with, is like, they're like, well, this isn't fair. They should like this. They shouldn't be able to just say, well, we're not going to play it because, like, there's, you know, this group of people in it. That's ridiculous. Well, you can be ridiculous. There's no law against being ridiculous. So you have a lot of people who, guess what? They're fucking ridiculous. And I think that's how things are going to keep going, is you're going to see people more and more get more fixated on that. And I think that as soon as they realize that they can do it and like actually gain power with it, like they did with Concord and Veilguard and everything, now you're seeing massive hate mobs for games. And the thing is that you can get mad about these hate mobs as much as you want, but that's not going to make them go away. And also, like, here's the other factor. Every time that they win, it emboldens them to do it again. because they keep winning and they see the outcome and they're thinking to themselves, we're doing it, we're making it happen. There it is. How Gen Z became the poorest generation. What's it? Is it because they're stupid? It's because they're stupid. They got little brains.
Almost everywhere online, you'll notice videos, articles, and news clips talking about Gen Z becoming poorer. And we've even done so on this channel before too. But oftentimes, you'll see people say it's because Gen Z are lazy, entitled, and not having enough children or families. I
feel like they said the same thing about millennials whenever we were the same age as Gen Z. Am I crazy? Because that's what I remember.
Population collapse looming over the horizon as many warn about what's to come when there just aren't enough children to sustain the coming future. Is this
well, we won't need children, we'll have robots.
Just because Generation Z supposedly wastes all their money on morning Starbucks and owning an iPhone? Well, it doesn't take long to realize that this is far from the truth, and is merely a band-aid type reasoning over the massive gaping wound causing Generation Z to become so much poorer than other generations. So are Generation Z, an entire generation of people around the West, just really that lazy if they physically can't work more than 12 hours a day to sustain a life? How is it that in the past you could really just get a job through an ad in the local paper on only a high school diploma, and by living off a regular normal salary you could have a big house, a stay-at-home wife, with 3 children, all sustained by just one salary at your normal job?
That's crazy. Like, that's the thing that I feel like most people are mad about, is the fact that they can look at these old movies and these old shows, and it can be like some dumb fuck husband who, like, what does he do? Like, he goes to work and he works on an assembly line, and he has a house, 2 cars, and a boat. What the hell?
It's this giant disparity in such a short time span where people can barely survive today, where the living conditions have become so much worse. Why does it appear that to live a normal life now is just so out of reach for most in Generation Z? And what effect will this have on the future? Well, to better understand this whole situation, we need to go back in time to compare the life of a regular person to someone today.
1950.
In the past, for other generations, higher education was a sure way of moving upwards in the social structure. However, today, this is just becoming more and more of a financial black hole.
How many of you guys know somebody who is basically, like, they have a bunch of student aid debt, and, like, they can't get out from under it? Because I know a lot of people that are like that. Especially, like, I mean, now not as many, right? Because, like, a lot of my friends have gotten jobs and shit like that, and they've been able to pay it off. But for a long time, that was the case.
Which has doubled the amount that students will have to pay in the last 20 years, has completely exploded. If we count that with inflation, the tuition for public colleges in the US has jumped by more than 213% compared to the 1980s. Baby boomers would pay about $10,000 converted with inflation to 2018, but Generation Z now at the very minimum is paying $25,910.
Oh my
and more
god.
often than not,
and that's only in 2020. Look at that to 2021. So it's probably even more than that now.
Well into the 6-figure range, as this number also excludes rentals, administration fees, stationery, and food, which is why there's such crippling debt all over America for students right now. And even if you do get the best grades and scholarships possible, many Generation Z students are still required to take on these huge predatory loans. Loans that stay with you even if you go bankrupt. And
Yeah,
so
I think the big problem with student loans is the fact that I think that it's grooming. Because, like, students are brought up and people are brought up to think that you need to go to college, and you're in an institution that for 12 years institutionalizes you into believing that you need to go to college. And so it's like you're basically trying to brainwash somebody for 12 years to take on indentured servitude for life. And some people are able to, like, overcome it, some aren't. But the reason why I think that they're unethical is the fact that you're doing it to a person who is underage and can't really consent to a contract and doesn't really understand these different types of, like, amount of money. Right, happened to me. Yeah, exactly, right? And so you're going to tell us a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, and it's like the moment they turn 18, it's like, okay, well, now you're completely free to make every decision, which is like, yeah, it's true, but it's still unethical to do, I would say.
Even when they make it outside of university, they now have a huge burden of loans hanging over them, restricting all of their financial decisions. And all of this for really what? Unless your degree is specifically needed for your line of work.
By the way, this is the reason why why people think TikTok is making young people hate America. It's not because of how Gen Z became the poorest generation.
Free Tax USA, where federal filing is always free with no games or pricing gimmicks. Because choosing your tax software shouldn't be a guessing game. Companies may claim their federal tax filing is free, that is, minus the hidden fees, high prices, unwanted add-ons. No way. And when you're ready to submit, it's not really free. Not this year, my friend. You have found Free Tax USA. Say goodbye to forced upgrades and unexpected fees. The only trick up our sleeve is free federal tax filing for everyone. Plus, filing a state return is less than $20. Go to freetaxusa.com.
Lost. Out of sight. Please.
There's a shooting at STEM School, Highland Science.
No access. Let's bust the window.
Bullet holes in the wall.
There's bullet holes in the wall? Okay, we're coming. We're coming as fast as we can, all right?
On May 7th, 2019, just 3 days before graduation, shots were fired at STEM School in Douglas County, Colorado. The following report is based on police records, and most of the footage has never been seen before until now. Please note that while the following footage is intense, it does not show anyone being physically harmed or injured. The horror began almost at the end of the school day, just after 1:50 p.m. Countless additional calls to emergency services began to pour in. With each one, the situation appeared more dire.
Where is the shooter? Room 107. Is it just a single shooter? Is it one person? No. As far as I know, but I don't know. Is the shooter down or is our shooter still shooting? What? We have stated the shot, yes.
Every second counted. Officers from the police department, sheriff's department, and the closest SWAT team all deployed in force and raced for the school. Some of them didn't even have time to don protective gear, but rushed onwards all the same.
No access. Let's bust the window. Here. Go through. I got you. Eyes in there, you guys are security. You see them moving. I got you. Open. Hey, hold there. We're gonna need this later. So we gotta recover this.
Elsewhere, another group of law enforcement officials forced entry through a different door and were about to get a nasty surprise.
Go, let's go. Go. You up first, bro. I got it. Shield first. Shield first. Where's it at? To your right. Get on the ground. Put it down. We have him? Put it down. Face down. Don't move.
Despite 2 bullets narrowly missing the first responders, they didn't return fire, a decision that would later be proven wise.
That's security. Is it security? Where's the bag? Where's he at? The projector room. He's in the English room behind you. The first one on the right. Over here. First one on the right. Over there.
He had the gun. There's one behind my back. He's cuffed right there.
Which one?
He's right there. The one cuffed.
This one?
Yes.
How many do we think we have? 2 entered that room. Two? This is one of them? I don't know.
He's the one I pulled out. He had the gun in his hand. He's prone out. He's got him.
Pat him down now.
I have bullets in my
You better start talking. How many other people are in here? Roll over. Where the fuck is the other one? What does he look like? What kind of gun is he carrying?
I made him Venus. His name is Devin. He has purple hair.
If the scene in the hall seemed like a nightmare, what was happening inside the classrooms was even worse. More than 1,000 students, from kindergartners all the way to 12th graders, were trapped, terrified, and in mortal danger. Some of them took the chance to film what they may have thought would be their last moments alive.
Lost. Out of sight. Please. Lockdown.
When law enforcement enters the first classroom, the horrific scene they found was something straight out of a horror movie.
Let me see your hands! Back doors open. We have shot. We have people shot. Go through. I got it. Who's shot?
Out of sight.
Right, somebody hurt.
Please.
Everybody's gonna go. Hands on your heads. We need to send up a warm zone. Hey, let's pick him up. Let's do a good carry.